Senator, you are the chair of the committee in charge of the army. Just a few days ago, a colleague of yours on the floor of the Senate said there must be efforts to extend the help in fighting insurgents extended to Sokoto State. Are things getting worse in terms of banditry, insurgency, and violent attacks that we're seeing in some part of the northern region of the country?
Well, there are two things you're talking about at the same time. One is the issue of insurgency in the northeast, and the other, of course, is the new resurgence of banditry in the northwest that affects Sokoto, Zamfara, and Katsina. And it has spread down to Niger. And, of course, part of Kaduna, too, is affected by this criminality of bandits. And the activities of those bandits have been intensified, leading to mass exodus of people from Katsina, Sokoto, and the like to neighboring countries of Niger. And Niger, too, are trying to contain the bandits, so they try to protect their border. And people run for safety in those areas, therefore increasing the number of internally displaced persons or refugees in Cameroon, in Niger now, to statistically about 60,000. That is what the United Nations for Refugees are talking about. And therefore, there is that increase in banditry in that region. Back to Northeast, of course, the situation there is improving in the sense that there is a new determination by the Nigerian Armed Forces consisting of Army and Air Force and some other security agencies. Efforts have been intensified, and as you might be aware, the Chief of Army Staff have relocated completely now to Borno State, and he has been there for about 2 months now. In fact, right now, the Chief of Army Staff is in Maiduguri supervising and commanding the troops. That changed the game completely and give us hope. Now we only don't, we see light at the end of the tunnel, despite the issue, the pandemic that hampers the success. I believe, had it been, it's not for the pandemics, a reasonable progress would have been made, more than what we have on ground. But with the Chief of Army Staff relocating completely to Borno, and in my discussion with him, he's saying he's staying there until he gets this issue of insurgency in the Northeast finished. And I'm very hopeful now. The Army have new equipment deployed. The Nigerian Air Force is doing the same. In fact, recently also they have deployed some and trained some special forces in order to beef up the number and the capacity of those on ground. Unfortunately, the armed forces have too many things in their hands. Like they have the issue of banditry now in Northeast, resurfacing. The president have given directive for them to do something. There is the communal clashes that is happening in the North Central and even issues of banditry. These things are so many, and the number of soldiers that we have on ground, it's not very adequate to take care of this, but they are doing their best, and hopefully with the increase in the capacity in terms of equipment, we hope that this thing will come to an end.
So what about funding of the Army in the 2020 budget and also the 2019 budget? Would you say there is an optimal performance of the budget in the funding of the Nigerian Army?
No, that is one of the major challenges that the Nigerian Armed Forces, not only the Nigerian Army, you talk about Army, Air Force, and Navy, have a serious challenge of funding. In the 2019 budget, the performance was decimal. And I can tell you, even in the 2020, compounded by the challenges of the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, have all challenged our our financial capacity. That has also affected the budget performance. For now, I think the only thing they've been able to keep up to as the first quarter of the 2020 finish is the personal and recurrent expenditure. Even that one, we have some challenges. But so far now, we have been talking to the Ministry of Finance because we discovered that the capital releases to the Army and Armed Forces have not been effected for this 2020. And I think
Senator,
that is because of the financial challenges we have. But
yeah,
we're in a situation of war.
Is that situation affecting the success or the prosecution of the war against insurgency?
Of course, because the army is just scavenging around for finance to keep their operations going. Honestly, they are facing big financial challenges, and you know this is not something that is intentional, but because the whole country is affected by the pandemic that affected the price of oil worldwide. And that is a major challenge that we have. But the government, accordingly, is determined, and they promise that they will do everything to support the army to succeed, because the primary purpose of government is security and welfare of its citizens.
But Senator,
we are waiting.
Senator,
yeah.
You mentioned earlier that the military have gotten some new equipment. I'm aware that
yes.
They were requesting for helicopters, that they needed helicopters. Have they gotten those helicopters?
The Air Force have gotten new helicopters. You are aware that late last year or early this year, I think, the President commissioned about 3 or 4 of them, and more are coming in and still arriving. The Nigerian Army, on its part, have gotten many of their armored tanks and heavy-duty equipments that they require from China. They have taken delivery of them, and they have been deployed to the theater. And so there is improvement, actually, and they are expecting the order that will be placed from the 1 billion that was taken out from the external reserve last year. Some of the equipments ordered have started arriving, and they are being deployed. But the challenge that they have now is the operational funds. It's not only having the equipment, but you must have the ammunition. You must have other consumables, or those that are deployed, ammunition, tires, and you know, fueling equipment that has, you know, normally supplies, so to say, not the big type of equipment. Right. Even with those, you know, they have to get the supplies that will back the equipment in order for them to be effectively operational. So
you spoke about the fact that the Chief of Army Staff relocated to the theater of the war in Maiduguri. But there was a video that surfaced online where we saw the Chadian president and the Chadian troops talking about the fact that they've chased out Boko Haram insurgents out of their territory. Shortly after then, we heard that the Chief of Army Staff said he was going to relocate to the theater of war. Was that a coincidence, or was that prompted by the decision of the Chadian president and the troops there?
Well, I don't think I'm in the position to answer that, but all I know is that the Chief of Army Staff, because this issue of insurgency has been lingering, and we from the political side and representing the people from that region particularly have been crying out to the Nigerian Army to do something, and they should do more. I have been on this TV station several times urging the Nigerian Army to do more and that they can do more. So now they are doing more. I think we should commend them and we should encourage them. They are doing well, and we hope that this vigor will continue, that is, in order to bring the war to an end. And I see it coming to an end with the new determination and the new support from everybody. And I just want to use this opportunity to call on the other side, that is the civilians, to also cooperate with the military, provide them necessary information to get this war to an end. Instead, now the game has changed. The hunter is now being hunted. In those days, or even recently, or even at the beginning of the year, you hear Boko Haram daring the Nigerian army, going to even their formations to attack them. It is now reversed. The army are now looking out or chasing Boko Haram, and of course they face resistance and even casualties in the process.
All right.
But we are hopeful that, that it will come to an end.
All right, Senator, quickly, I have about 2 questions because we have a few minutes to the end of the program. And the first question is the trouble of battling COVID-19 and insurgency in areas where you come from, like Borno State and in some parts of the northern region of the country. Are you worried about the situation and the plight of your people, some of them who are referred to as living very much below the poverty line?
Honestly, that is one big area. The humanitarian crisis that we are facing, even before now, was serious. And now the pandemic issue have compounded the problem. Initially, it was the issue of security challenges that we are facing from the insurgents. But now with the pandemic of COVID-19, the situation have gotten worse. It is the palliative are not getting to the people, and even if the palliative gets to the state, it's difficult. It's normally very challenging to move it to the various locations where people are in their need. So the humanitarian crisis in Borno particularly is very serious. But thank God, everybody is trying to contribute and to see to it that the suffering of the people is minimized. The state government is doing all it can. The Northeast Development Commission, NEMA recently, the humanitarian ministry also, we are hearing that they are making effort to do that. But we hope that we'll see more of this humanitarian assistance going to the Northeast, and particularly Borno.
Senator, we have less than, I've been told that we have less than 60 seconds to the end of the program. But this is very important because a lot of people, experts and leaders of thought have warned about the situation of Almaji Children on the streets of northern Nigeria. With what we have on our hands, that's a worry. That's a big concern, isn't it, for you? Is it being handled well?
Not at all. Honestly, the way the Almajiri issue is being handled is, I don't support it. These are Nigerians protected by the Constitution. They have the right. These are innocent people that found themselves coming from a poor background. I think the state government should have managed the situation better. As the governor, I had governor of Adamawa, for example, saying that they have acknowledged that most of the Almajiris are from their state. I think there is this Almajiri system on ground that the government is supposed to improve on it, not repatriating people from state to state against their will. I don't, even though the states are saying that they are ready to receive them, but here we're saying that there should be no movement between states. And there you are packing these innocent Almajiris from one point to the other. I was thinking that they could use the palliative to take care of the Almajiris. The palliative that the government is giving out should have been directed to the Almajiris, put them in one place, put them through tests, and give them the necessary support they need. But running away from responsibility doesn't solve the problem.
Senator Ali Ndume, Senator from Borno State and the chair of the Senate Committee on the Army, thank you indeed for coming tonight on the program. And let me allow you to enjoy the rest of your celebration of Salah. Thank you so much for coming.